couldn't walk to your door, couldn't bear to call.
Welcome to the Radiant Enchantress show today. Thank you for joining us.
Here's Anissa and Jane, and we're discussing once again my 8 rules to live by that I published in my book called Living and Succeeding.
So we're talking about another one of the rules to live by, and this is love unconditionally. And I love all of these because they're very symbiotic. I mean, we've talked about being connected. We've talked about being present. We've talked about gratitude and forgiveness. This is all, I mean, if this doesn't really show you that we're all connected, I don't know what would. There's, when you love someone unconditionally, you just show them love. You just love them. And there really isn't a reason for us not to, be able to love everyone and everything that we meet and show them love. And one of the people that I think of when I think of loving unconditionally, Jane, is I think of Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
She was probably the epitome of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, she even wrote a poem talking about, loving someone and doing good things and, believing and giving of your heart, and, they won't believe you, or they'll walk on you, or they won't love you back. Do it anyway. And, that's a really, really great, that's a really great thing for us to consider when we're doing this. And the fact that if we are all connected and everyone is connected to us, then if we're not loving someone else, we're not loving ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, that's something to really think about. And Jane, you mentioned to me this, talk to me about this before you mentioned the 8-second rule. Talk a little bit about that.
The 8-second rule is something we learned several years ago as well. And this past year has been a year or so. It's been a bit of a challenge because of work stuff mm-hmm. going on. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I forget about this. But for example, if you're driving along in your car, and I'm going to try and be polite about this, okay? So there's the not such nice person behind you who is on your butt and wants to get by you. Right. And then there's the person who drives so fast past you that she almost causes an accident as he passes you or she passes you.
Yeah.
And instead of bitching and moaning about the driver behind you and the driver passing you and the slow driver in front of you, you say, "Oh, Gabe, this is a pain in my butt." Oh, but okay, 8 seconds, 1, 2, 3. I love you. See how that changes your whole being. Okay, because if you continue to have that bad thought about that person, that bad thought is going to affect you, not that person, not the person that just passed you, not the person who's driving slow in front of you, and not the person who's on your butt behind you. Mm-hmm. Right? So you give them 8 seconds. You can you just say, I don't like you. I don't like what you just did. Oh, 8 seconds are gone. I love you. Right. It goes away. It totally goes away.
That is awesome, Jay.
I don't know where that phrase saying "I love you," whatever. It changes you. It changes.
I will tell you, just that alone, what you just shared with everybody, if that does not change everybody's life, just hearing what you just said, use that when you're driving. I don't know what's gonna, because I mean, driving is probably one of the most, I mean, that was a great analogy too, because driving is probably one of the most stressful things that we do on a literal daily basis. And we're not even, like, we don't even think about it. Like, somebody will cut you off or they whatever, and you're like, you jerk. I got really present to that a couple of years back. I used to always think I was such a nice person driving and courteous, but I used to say things like that. And my granddaughter, who spends a lot of time with me, 4 years old, 5 years old, she starts calling people jerk on the roads. And worse. And I went, oh, wait a second. I'm saying that out loud, you know, because I wasn't used to having a child in my car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about what that vibration does.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that and not doing the 8-second rule, and this person just cut in front of you without signaling or made you hit your brakes or whatever, and then you are thinking that, and then on top of that, if you say it and put that vibration out there, that has to that's like, like they've said before, hating someone, or it's like holding poison and hoping that the other person actually gets harmed by it or something. Like, you're harming yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
awesome
if you say that out loud, right? So your granddaughter has a whole different viewpoint on things.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's amazing. It's amazing what a difference it really makes.
Yeah.
So another thing that I do on a fairly regular basis, and I do this mostly in grocery stores. This is funny. So, and I kind of test to see how many people will respond. All these strangers that I'm walking by. Mm-hmm. So, and I did it. I did this just yesterday. Mm-hmm. I'm in the grocery store, and there's lots of people around. It's the Saturday before Christmas, one of the Saturdays before Christmas, close to Christmas, and people are buying lots of food and lots of gifts and blah blah blah. And so, for some people, this is really stressful.
Very.
Either they don't have the money, or they don't know what to buy, or whatever their stress is about the holidays. I walked around and I tried to make eye contact with as many people as I possibly could, and I would smile to them. Do you know how many people cannot make eye contact, that are so sad, are so stressed, that they are on an island, and I want to shake them and say, smile, look at me, right?
Right.
And there was this, I forget which store she was in, but there was this older lady who was standing close to me, and she couldn't stop smiling at me. And I'm like, this is so cool. In the end, I waved goodbye to her.
Yeah.
And it was just a really happy experience. Yeah. And it was happy because I was making eye contact. I was being connected to these other people in the grocery store and smiling and spreading the joy. I even had a shirt on that said joy.
And Jane, they felt that. I do the same exact thing. And I do it everywhere, and especially when I'm traveling. Yeah. You would not believe the most miserable people, I believe, at least they appear to be, are people in airports. Yeah. And me, I'm always excited because you know how much I love getting another stamp on my passport. Yeah. And of course, remember we talked before about fear a topic or two ago. Remember, I used to have to take medication to even get to the airport. I had to start taking the medication to get in the car to drive to the airport. Then to get on the plane, I would take, twice what the doctor prescribed for me to get myself off the plane, right? And then I would still freak the whole time. So anyway, I'm very happy when I'm in an airport because it means I'm about to go on an adventure. And usually I get to go to places like the island and see you and Dawn, which I love, and things like that. So, but people in airports they do not make eye contact with you.
No.
Oh boy. And if you can get a rare one to smile, and they actually will look at me weird, which maybe I look like a total crazy person. I don't know, because I'm grinning and running down the middle of an airport, and just bebopping along. They really will look at me like I'm nuts, but I smile anyway. And I sometimes will have to remind myself of that because I'm like, oh wait, like smile, like you're in Costco, smile. But it's very amazing what that will do. But people, that's the kind of, we're connected and the present and that we don't have in our lives and that we so desperately need. And there may be people, that think, oh, well, love unconditionally. Well, I can't love that neighbor of mine. He's a horrible human being. Okay. Well, it doesn't mean you have to like what someone does. Okay. That's different. However, would you go over and wish that man harm, wish that, he died or had some hideous illness? No. Or lost a loved one. So it doesn't mean that you don't love that person. You just may not like how he's being, okay, or she, whatever that is.
Right.
So loving unconditionally is, you could do in the tiniest of ways. But I feel like those little ways, Jane, like you smiling at the grocery store at stressed out holiday people, and the 8-second rule, those little things done often are what builds you a good foundation of love in your life.
Yeah, for sure. And so those are a good couple of tools to have, and that we share again in the retreats that we run, and
Yes.
in all of the retreats and whatever we do. So it's really,
and you know what, really one of the things that we talk about at the retreat, and loving unconditionally really, really, really directly involves the learning of forgiveness too.
yes,
Like that, sure. Right?
Yeah.
You have to learn to do that if that's really what if you're going to apply loving unconditionally. So
it's also related to living in the here and now, because maybe some of those people it's fear-based, and so they don't connect with other human beings or strangers because they're so afraid.
Yeah, the guy that just cut you off may literally be so disconnected from the here and now and so stressed out that he and his light is just completely all but out in his mind or her mind, and literally not be aware that yes, you, another human being in a hunk of metal, is hurtling down the road at 60 miles an hour next to him or her. But they can be that unaware, and that makes me feel hurt for that person and makes me think, what are they going through that they could not be that present, that Jane is standing next to them in a grocery store smiling at them with joy on her sweatshirt? Like how, right? And so that shouldn't upset us. It shouldn't anger us. It should actually want to love them more.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So great conversation again. This was awesome. Thank you so much. And
I know, Jane, thank you so much. And I just love I learned something new today too. The 8-second rule. I just love it. I'm gonna definitely do that. That's great.
Bella will like that.
Teach it too.
Bella will like that.
Bella will love that. Yes, she will. Oh.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Anissa. You have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jane.
Aria.
You are a goddess.
We hope you enjoyed this enchanting conversation today, and we look forward to having a new conversation with you in our next show. Our shows will be broadcast approximately every 2 weeks. We wish you much love and light in your life today. Thank you.